So my first question, I kind of alluded to it already, obviously in the intro. One of the things that I really appreciate about you is that you give really awesome reviews of devices and news across the
Yeah.
tech space, but you do it from a room that is steeped in nostalgia. From a Sailor Moon backdrop to flexing about Pokemon or Tamagotchi, you're an unapologetic '90s kid. Why is it so important to you to surround yourself with that stuff and mix it into your professional work?
Um, well, I think if I say that I'm a Taurus, I feel like the people who are into that will like understand what I'm saying, which is to say that I very much thrive off of having I actually didn't turn my lights on, which I just realized right now. It's so dark in here, but I need to have things to look at that are inspiring, that are I mean, I have a whole like row of pens here to my right, which I don't really need, but the idea is that any color that I need for my list making and all that is readily available. Um I guess I was talking to my best friend yesterday. She said that something she appreciates about me is that while I am materialistic, like I take really good care of my things. And so that's also like partially why I have all this stuff. Is because it like this poster that's behind me, opposite. I've had this since I was 12. I'm now in my mid 30s. So this has been around for a long time. It's an original scroll and it's something that just like brings me back to I think the 90s. It's funny because I just finished watching the 8-Bit Christmas, which is part of the 80s nostalgia, which is more of like my husband's generation. But we were just thinking about how you do kind of get a warm feeling from all that stuff that was around us at the time. Because if stuff was hard at home or at school, that was what helped you out of that bad time. And I guess I still kind of carry that into my adult life. If I'm having a really rough day, I can just I don't know, go over and re-straighten some of my Sailor Moon dolls just to help like recalibrate.
Watch some 90210
It's
or
funny you
some
say that because
Housewives.
I was just watching that right as I was like washing my face and stuff to come and see you on webcam. And I was
Nice.
watching the episode right as when Kelly starts to get into the cult. So I'm back at that storyline again. It just feels really I've been studying cults a lot lately, so it just felt really like,
What okay. You can't just throw that out there and not follow up on it. What cults have you been studying about?
Okay, so I read this really great book. I was actually just saying if maybe I could grab it. It's called American Cult, and I believe it was published through Silver Sprocket. And it's a graphic novel that basically walks you through all like the major cult movements in America. And it starts with, oh God, I think like the 1600s cult. I forget which one it was. I think it was the Children of God. Or was that Manson? See, I kind of started my research at the beginning of the pandemic because there's just something so fascinating. I think it's because I went to religious high school and it really the high school was very dogmatic and it was evangelical, so of course there was a lot of that going on. And I guess in adulthood it's just helping me retrace some of those things. And it's just so fascinating. How did Tom Cruise fall so far down the rabbit hole in Scientology? Like what tactics did they use to bring him in? How did Nexium like get all of those celebrities to come and just basically become a part of a sex cult? Just no. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, this is my deliverance from Earth. Is this man who started his life in an MLM? So I'm so fascinated. And to that end, by the way, I'm also very into MLMs lately because they kind of fall into the cult stratosphere, so to speak. So it's been an interesting thing for my brain to do in my off time.
Study people that are manipulative egomaniacs.
Documentaries on HBO have just been like coming out one by one. I recently finished, oh God, I've actually forgot the name of it. Oh yes, it's called Way Down, but it's spelled way as in like being weighed because the woman had started a religious cult based off of this like you can lose weight by basically what's it called? Oh my god, I forgot the name. Intuitive Eating. She basically rebranded Intuitive Eating as an evangelical prospect, brought all these people into a compound where she built this giant church in the middle of Tennessee, and some really horrible stuff happens actually. So trigger warning for anybody who ends up watching that on HBO, because it gets really dark and triggering. So, but for some reason, this is very interesting to me.
We're already off into the fun topics. Should I steer us back into the nostalgia of the 90s, perhaps?
Yes.
Since we've already took a left turn into cults immediately.
Yeah. I will say the nostalgia, I can help turn us there maybe. The nostalgia, 90s nostalgia has really, like when I log into TikTok, my algorithm is just video after video of magazines, old Delia's catalogs, the service merchandise catalog, like just all of, I'm actually starting to feel a tad overwhelmed by it. At first I was like, oh, this is exciting. I could maybe like try and be a part of this on TikTok. Like, let me take, videos of the cute little toys I have, some of the stuff I'm getting, because I'm still buying stuff, importing it from Japan for my own, wonder. But it's so saturated at this point that I'm feeling like it's time for me to just kind of take a little break. I say as I received my Pokemon Christmas decorations today, but
What kind of decorations were they?
yeah, I got Pikachu and Eevee candle holders, and Pikachu stamped, the fake wax candles, the flameless candles.
I think, yeah.
It was a sale at the Pokemon Center. And the thing about these things, and I was telling this to my coworker the other day, because actually it was on this week's Gadgets. I was talking about how much I spent on the Tamagotchi Smart to import it from Japan. And my coworker's like, you spent $150 to import that thing with shipping? And I'm like, yeah, I did. And I told her, I said, but you know what? This stuff is going to sell later in the future, okay? Like, I can sell this. This will help pay for my daughter's college education. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Amazing.
Based on what I see on eBay right now.
Sure. It's all hearsay until you actually get somebody to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah. Have you seen the resale values? I'm sorry. Have you seen the resale values on the Pokemon cartridges, like the original Game Boy games and DS games? They're being massively marked up right now. It's
yeah,
bonkers.
I believe it. I mean, everybody that grew up in that generation is an adult now, and they're hitting the nostalgia wave like I was with certain Nintendo games for sure, and then also toys as well. Obviously, I am a giant toy nerd, as you can see.
And you and I, we,
right
we understand each other on this level, like why we like to be surrounded by Pikachu pillows. And
I mean, I don't have any Pikachu pillows here. I just have some shark pillows. But
that was a gift from my mom. Okay, I wasn't gonna say no. My mom saw it at Target and thought of me, which was very nice.
Well, yeah. Anytime moms want to take a W with that of like
Exactly.
actually trying to feign some interest. Yeah. Trying to feign some interest in your passions. That's always a W. So
even in your mid-30s. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she could just get you like a pencil case and that'll be the end of it. So
that would, oh my God, those pencil cases, by the way, I really, really regret thrashing the ones that I got from Sanrio. But how could I know at that stage, like what life would be like? Because you would buy those things back then to bring to school and show off to everyone at school, of course. And when you bring things to school, they tend to get a little messed around because such is the environment of school full of children. A lot of those things had to get tossed out. And then I go on eBay and I look at like the Peckle pencil box that I used to have and how much it's going for now. And I'm just like, and I don't want to buy it either because somebody else used it. And I have nothing against buying used things because obviously I have a shelf full of them. But when it comes to pencil boxes, there's just something personal about somebody else's scratches. You know what I mean? And you can't like necessarily buy every toy. I don't know. It depends on the toy. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's wild too. Did you know that the first Sanrio was in the first Sanrio in America opened up in San Jose?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading a lot of history about it recently.
The Toys That Made Us did a really good episode on
Yeah,
Hello
that's right.
Kitty. Yeah.
I did watch
And
that.
and that whole episode is just adorable because it just keeps making callbacks to small gift, big smile. Um,
Sunshine Station. And the Bay Area in particular used to be riddled with these stores that were usually franchised. So they were kind of, each one was a little different because it would depend on whatever the manager or owner of that store would import. But because we had a big import center, I learned all this because I was reading on the characters in Sanrio, they had discontinued some characters and introduced some new ones, etc. And I was reading that in the Bay Area in particular and in Southern California, Long Beach were two big ports where they would just drop off like all the Sanrio stuff. San Mateo, California has used to have one of the big warehouses. And so that's why the Bay Area had all of these. And it's it's wild how much it influenced my childhood, just having immediate access to these cute little things. I know you brought me on here to talk about tech, but this is the other.
no, it's good. I mean, you're passionate about it, and I'm leaning into it. So let's talk about it.
It's super fascinating to just think about capitalism and the economies and the way that they influence the things that you love as a child.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, there's a special love there. Like, I think my favorite growing up was Tuxedo Sam.
Yes.
What was the penguin name?
Botsmaru, he's still around. He's still very cool. Like, he's the alt penguin. He's also constantly marketed towards boys, I should say, because Sanrio unfortunately still deals in the binary. So there's some things that need to evolve.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can just like what you like and not necessarily market towards one particular group. Yeah.
Precisely.
If you wanna like my melody and you're a person, like my melody, full stop.
But and that came to mind because in my research of Tamagotchi, I was learning a little bit about Digimon, which my brother and I didn't really get into as kids, even though like the show was on TV. But Digimon it's still going. You can buy like a smart bracelet akin to the smart Tamagotchi, whatever that I recently bought. And Digimon was originally introduced as the boy variant of Tamagotchi. So Tamagotchi was very much for girls in the mid 90s. And again, we're talking binary terminology here. And Digimon was very, very much for like, rough and tumble boys.
Beyblade.
Now you can buy a Digimon in every single freaking color. They made it very like, here's a sparkly purple one. Here's a lime green one. Here's a, communist red one. I don't know.
I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh did a better job of marketing towards that way of just kind of being like the more male focused version of Pokemon, even though Pokemon is kind of like gender neutral in general. So
not sure what I'm going to do with all of my brother's Yu-Gi-Oh cards from back in the day, though, because they haven't really gone up in value the way that Pokemon cards have. And for that, I blame Logan Paul for ruining everything. Absolutely ruined the card game market. I can't buy cards. I actually play the game, mind you. I've been collecting these cards and working on my deck. I would kind of like to be, if God willing, I would like to be in my 70s competing against some young kid at like the Pokemon, national tournament or whatever. I would love to do that because there's always some sweaty gamer guy and then another like young teen doing it, which is fine, but we need some more representation. And I love playing Pokemon the card game. It is so fun. I can't wait to teach my kid.
Get wrecked, Bulbasaur.
Yes, I'm going to tell my Mona, I had you because I needed somebody to play Pokemon the card game with. So
you made your best friend.
Expectations.